All right. Let's get to the main topic of this episode. We are a fan of RPGs. I like RPGs. You like RPGs? You know,
I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I mess with them sometimes. They're pretty cool. I didn't really get into RPG games till later on. I was not an early adopter. You know, I think you have to find the right RPG game for you to understand and say, I get it, and then you go back and play stuff. So I was late playing a lot of the popular games. I was late playing Final Fantasy VII. I was late playing Chrono Trigger. I was late, all those kind of classic games. But they're on the backlog.
Still got to touch it.
Yeah, and I got to touch it, take it out to eat, enjoy some times with it, and everything like that. It's
hopefully not
old,
in that order.
Yeah, it's old enough now. It's mature enough. It's mature enough. It can handle itself. But one of the things that shook up RPGs of the classics was this new thing called HD2D, and where they take these classic games and they give it a nice little shine. It looks like a diorama, if you say, or a pop-up book per se, in a cool way. The first game that kind of shoot that out was Octopus Traveler, right? That was the first game I noticed this, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool looking."
Oh yeah,
that was cool looking. And so from there, the game got great reviews, and a lot of people were feeling it, and it started screaming. It's like, we got something. Let's do some more. And so, they start popping up. You got that with, Live a Live. That got the treatment that came out last month. Good for them.
Yep.
You have it for Triangle Strategy.
Yeah.
That
still working through that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And some upcoming games coming up, like Dragon Quest III got announced that's also getting that same treatment. And even a studio that were ex-developers for the Suikoden series called, I'm going to butcher this, I think it's Euden Chronicles.
Close enough.
Yeah. So the game that people have been wanting for a while that Konami will not do.
Nope.
That should be a hashtag. Konami won't do it. So...
Man, I'm already working on the Lunar.
But it's really cool how they pull that off. I really like the shine about. Jaron, what's your opinion on the HD2D?
When done right, it is brilliant. I enjoy Triangle Strategy. I've had Octopath Traveler for 5 years. Damn near, and I have yet to play it. Mm-hmm. But I do want to play it because I do like the fighting, the game system in it. Live a Live, that's on it. I like all the graphics of it. I love that simplicity, but it's deep. It's like let me liken it to this. There are those lakes in the world that look really placid, but they go down like hundreds and hundreds of feet. That's these games. It looks really simple, but it goes real deep.
Yeah.
And that's classic JRPG.
Yeah. I heard the development for those games is not easy as people think it is, especially doing those background arts and everything. And you have to give it to the influence of older games that used that 2.5, right? You have your character that's 2D, but everything is in a 3D kind of look. Castlevania is a great start for that with Symphony of the Night, where you saw these 3Ds and the 2D of that, and that's what we got here. The character's still sprite worth, but everything else just looks like, graphically, like kind of like, I don't want to say like Minecraft, but you could argue kind of that kind of like 3D kind of built in that aspect of it. And I think it just brings that game to new life. And there's a lot of games that you can think of now looking at that, like a lot of these old games can get this treatment, give them this refresh, get a real look at it.
I call it a facelift.
A facelift. That's a good one.
Give them some Botox.
Yeah. And so Jaron and I we were talking about this about a month ago. We were talking about like we should do an episode talking about what games that we would like to see, and we want to pick games that already exist because it'll take us too long to talk about a list of games of what we want to imagine what the world will be like and all that. It'll just take too long. So we did a list of games that we think would be pretty cool to get that treatment and see what else they can do with that, because some of these games that were, say for Dragon Quest III, that were the battle system was first person, where you just see the enemies. Now you're seeing these enemies out in the field now. So you get these different kind of looks, because the old school RPG games were a lot of first person. You get a fight, you just see the enemies only, and you just see slashes. So now you're seeing more of the action of these characters, and awesome new upgrades of like the battle system of what they want to do it, especially the quality of life. That's a big thing.
Well, and especially with the Dragon Quest series, it's notoriously hard. I mean, we saw a hint of that with 11, where you could switch back and forth from 2D to the new mode. So yeah, I like that they're revisiting and they're acknowledging that, you know, they were a little bit limited at the time. You know, you made some hard ass games.
And it's sad too, because there's a lot of games that came out before this treatment that you went back to see. And I'm not talking about like old school. I'm talking about like games recently that got a remastered, that you wish they got that sort of Mana, or not Sword of Mana, Secret of Mana.
Secret of Mana.
Secret of Mana, I wish got that treatment, right? The
a
new
little bit
one,
more love.
Yeah, the one that they came out was kind of like, it's there, and I wish that it got this same treatment like that. That would have been really cool to see.
Chrono Cross Remastered. I really wanted to pick that up. It was on my list to pick up, and then I saw all the reviews, and I was like, yo, this did not get the love it deserved. You know? I mean, yeah, the graphics are there, but you can touch them up a bit. You can make it not load like it's still on a PlayStation 1.
Especially when it comes to games that are beloved, right? Beloved games should deserve a little bit more treatment.
Yeah.
So with that being...
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
No, that was it. It was like, just like, testify.
Yeah. So we have a list of our games, but before we do that, we want to talk about the games that definitely didn't make the list, because we talked about before, like the games that we didn't pick, or the games I think everybody is going to say, of course. So we didn't want to put that on our list, because like, it's no brainer that this game deserves this treatment and we should have it on here. So let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room, Chrono Trigger. I think a lot of people want to see, maybe I could be wrong, but I think Chrono Trigger is one of those games that after seeing Live a Live, I believe Chrono Trigger can get this treatment, and it will look beautiful. Especially seeing the time travel in different environments would be really cool to see.
Yeah, touch up the effects, the time travel effects. You know, make it optional. You can switch between classic and the remastered version. People would eat it up.
The argument of which game was better when it came to story and villains, Final Fantasy VI or Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VI deserves this treatment of some sort. Final Fantasy VI really gets shafted a lot. And I haven't even really fully played that game, but I know that game has been so loved that it feels like it is almost the black sheep of this, that it just never gets this love. And I would argue that without Final Fantasy VI, we wouldn't get Final Fantasy VII in the story-wise. I think 6 set the way of how you do villains. Like, this is the first time we got a badass villain that is just nuts, and show that it's not the traditional, like, I'm a bad guy just to be a bad guy. Like, we finally got this change of how a villain should be and how we should care about where the story goes in the world and everything like that. I think Final Fantasy VI deserves definitely that treatment. Do you agree or disagree?
A touch up remake. Yes and no, in the sense that part of its charm was the fact it was that clearly, I mean, because it kind of got a bit of that with, you know, the pixel remasters and everything that are coming out.
Yeah, but that's the old ones, right? All of them got the pixel remasters.
Exactly. But that was still a remaster, and it was received lukewarm because people just wanted to play the old Final Fantasy games somehow. So cool. So this, I think it would benefit more from not being touched up. So I think it should stay the way it is.
So I'm going to counter that only because all the other games got some addition. Final Fantasy V got a 3DS version. Did that really deserve that much attention to it? I don't know. But I think everybody's favorite Final Fantasy game deserves some treatment in that way. Yeah. You know,
four got an advanced version and after years and a PSP version and a Steam version.
Yeah. I would argue that, you know, what's that one? Well, I don't think it's true anymore, but it was talk that 9 was going to get a remake, but I don't think it's going to happen anymore. I think they're getting like a movie or anime or whatever it is now.
It would do better as like an animated, like the adventure, an animated.
I would argue that only because I think that game would look so beautiful with the Final Fantasy VII treatment. I think out of all of them, 9 has like one of the really good artwork when it comes to fantasy.
The artwork, yes. Character design, yes. But the reason I guess it resonates with me so well is because it's the vibrant, it could be that colorful. I'm not saying give it the Castlevania on Netflix treatment, but keep it vibrant and colorful. Almost, I'll almost say Cuphead, but keep it vibrant and colorful if you're going to animate.
And I would also argue that like it can't stop at 7 getting the remake treatment, right? Like another game has to get that treatment. Either it's going to be 6 or it could have been 9. Like leaving 7 like that the way it is, like they're going to have to they're going to rehash these classics. So what are you going to do? Are you really just going to stick with 7 and then when that whole trilogy done, you're just like, okay, no more of this treatment. We're just going to move on. I don't think that's going to happen. I think there has to be more to that.
I think they're going to finish their plate with 7 because we got Rebirth probably that so far tentatively winter of next year, and then the 3rd remake probably coming out a year or 2 after that. I think they want to finish their plate and see where the hell everything lies with that before they start thinking about other remakes.
You're thinking too much for Square like that, but yeah, I see where you're coming
from. Somebody's got to. Somebody's got to for Square. Yeah, but they're making their money. They know they're making their money with the classic looking RPGs this way.
And that's why, like, I guess I disagree with leave it for 6 the way it is, because I think they can still have that charm, but just still have the HD2D graphics with it. I don't see what they would have to really change that would change people's opinion. I think that would just be a plus on top of that.
It could be okay. So I'll revise and say, I don't think they could pull it off. It can be done. Mm-hmm. It can be done, but I don't think they'd be able to pull it off properly.
Okay.
And I'm going off of how they treated Chrono Cross and how some of the pixel remasters and their other attempts to redo and port their old Final Fantasy games up did. Final Fantasy X and X-2, different story. They worked well. 8 remaster, that worked okay. Although it was so damn ugly, it was hard to not work. Mm-hmm. But I've been a little gun shy regarding their earlier entries because they seem so slapdash, get it out the door.
I will agree with the Chrono Cross. I feel like I would argue Chrono Cross to me was a game where it should have been remade or not touched, because the HD does not make too big of a difference from that, and the quality of life didn't really change too much about it. It just felt like that they just bring it back just to brought it back.
Yeah.
And I think old PlayStation games should get that treatment, especially that game deserve a little bit more love. Regardless, though, I feel like that a lot of the old ones, like you can argue Valkyrie Profile would get the same treatment. You could argue that Valkyrie not very Chronicles, the one that's also based on the Vagrant story. I feel like Vagrant story would get that same treatment too. It would, and so but regardless though, other games.
I mean, yeah, Square could do a whole RPG collection like their Square PlayStation 1 collection. Mm-hmm. 1, it would sell like gangbusters, and 2, they wouldn't have to really redo anything. They could just re-release the games.
So now you said your baby Lunar should definitely get that treatment for you.
Damn right I did. You know why? Because we saw how good it looked when it was kind of remade on the PlayStation 1. Mm-hmm. And that was with and of course the PSP. Now imagine if they polished that further, give more detail to the backgrounds, to the battle scenes. Yeah, you see how I'm coming alive talking about Lunar? Battle scenes, the magic effects, the way everything goes. I mean, you don't even have to change the character design, if at all. Leave the anime scenes in there. Sharpen them up, refine them. And this would be great. I mean, it's like refine everything. Don't change much unless you're gonna like fix some dialogue or fix some quirks, but don't change much aside from that.
Okay.
And just HD the hell out of it. And yeah, I'll throw my money at the screen. I don't care.
And I don't think it has to stop at RPGs either. You could expand on it. Like, I would like to see a Castlevania get this treatment just to see how that would pull off. Like, seeing the first Castlevania game would be pretty interesting to see how they would pull that off. That'd be pretty cool to see what that would be.
Yeah. I mean, we saw a version of it on the Wii, I think. I think it was the Wii. They did a remastered version of it, but it wasn't HD. Mm-hmm. But yeah, seeing the original Castlevania or Haunted Castle or whatever sharpened and get rid of that the enemies keep respawning when you go back. You know, just really make it a side scroller with the love that Bloodstained got. Mm-hmm. I'd be down for that. Mm-hmm. Right now, Konami's just getting thrashed by the Bloodstained series, so who knows?
Right. I think and there's some games that would be unique just to see how they would pull it off. Like, I'd be kind of interested in how a Sonic game would look with that treatment, just to see. Oh,
like the first 3 Sonic games?
Yeah, like the first Sonic game. I would say first. That's probably the easiest one to do.
Okay.
Compared to the other ones, just to see what they would do, just to see how the palm trees would look, especially like in Green Hill, just to see what the trees are like. Or maybe that's Sonic 2. Maybe Sonic 2 is the one with the palm trees. But either way.
Yes. Yeah. I think Sonic.
Well, Emerald Hill.
No, Sonic 2 was Emerald. Yeah,
Emerald Hill.
Sonic 1 was Green Hill.
Let's do Sonic 2 for me, for example, of seeing those palm trees come more, just stand out more of that as Sonic's just running through it. It'd be kind of cool, especially like when you're going through the tubes. They can get more creative. That you can kind of see what the inside looks like going through them, coming out.
Yeah, they could do a lot of fun stuff with that. I think that would be better suited to kind of release a level as like a tech demo / teaser.
Sure. But think of Chemical Plant too. Chemical Plant would be really cool with that effect.
Yeah, true. But then you'd have people saying, "I want the music from Sonic Mania with this."
We're just talking about looks.
Just talking about looks?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just look. Yeah.
I'm still going to be mentally comparing it to Sonic Mania's Chemical Plant. You know I am, and I know you are too. Because I still remember our talks where you talk about you vibing out to the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, definitely. When we mentioned Triangle Strategy, Fire Emblem could be pretty cool to see.
Remake one of the original Fire Emblem games.
Yeah, with that kind of treatment. That'd be kind of cool.
Especially specifically the Fire Emblem that came out on NES. I mean, they kind of did a Game Boy Advance I think it's Game Boy Advance version of it, but to really bulk it up and bring it to the Switch, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, even though it's another RPG game, but it's more tactical. Sorry.
I mean, they did the original on digitally for the Switch, but I mean, like actually remake it. That could be cool. I could see them really having fun with that.
The ones that would be tough for me, because I don't know how well it would run, would be your run and guns. Like, I don't know how, like, say, like a Contra would be for that.
I mean, I believe you have one on your list. Not to skip ahead too far, I won't say what it is, but I believe you have one on your list that could be kind of interesting to see. Yeah. Especially if they gave it Mega Man 11 type graphics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could say beat 'em ups would be interesting, right? Like a Double Dragon, or a Streets of Rage, or
Golden Axe 2.
Yeah, there you go. Like Golden Axe. I'm not saying I agree with it, but you could argue Battletoads if you want to. I don't like Battletoads.
Put Battletoads back in its coffin. They had their chance. Mm-hmm. And somehow they screwed it up. I don't know how you screw up a slam dunk like Battletoads.
It's fine. It was never a slam dunk in the first place. So anyways.
Okay. I don't know. We might have to play some Battle Maniacs or something.